Welcome back to the Mini Machine Shop. I'm Dave. Well, today I think I'm just kind of ramble on some stuff here that I've learned over time. So talk about some snap-ons, and then I'm going to show the really sensitive test indicator and the run out on the lathe here. So let me pull the camera over and show you what's going on. Well, let's see if I can kind of keep my thoughts organized here. I'm not too sure how many people are familiar with snap-ons. I grew up with snap-on, and I was digging through some of my dad's old stuff. He didn't have a whole lot of money, so when he could, he kept adding to his set. Like I said, I grew up with them. Boy, I rebuilt cars. I did a lot of things with snap-on, so needless to say, when I finally moved out, I saved up because I knew I had a whole future in front of me of doing things. So I saved up, and I wound up contacting my area snap-on truck. Snap-ons are territorial. They're a franchise, and you can only buy from certain trucks or the trucks that deal in your area. So the guy came out, and I said, give me a catalog and a price list and come back tomorrow. And he says, what, are you going to buy a wrench or two? I said, no, I'm going to buy a lot of stuff. So he goes, yeah, see you tomorrow. So needless to say, yeah, I bought just about everything I needed. And it was expensive back then, but today I would never be able to afford it. So this is one of the original wrenches that I had bought, ratchet. This is a 1/2-inch drive. I paid, I looked at the receipt. I still had the receipt for all the tools. $28 for this. I looked it up. What it sells for today is $150. So yeah, they're very expensive and very good quality. And I also like how the company backs things up. Because where's, bring one of the wrenches over? No, this isn't one of them. Oh, it should be right behind me here. Yep, oh well. I know one point in time, I don't know what I did, but one of my wrenches had quite a bit of rust on it. And so I called the snap-on truck up and I said, hey, it's got rust. He goes, excuse me, but snap-ons do not rust. So he turns around, he pulls some steel wool out of the drawer, runs it over the tool, and hands it back to me. I look at it, there's not one bit of rust, not one pit mark, nothing. It's like a brand new tool. So another reason why I really like snap-ons over anything else. Also, in digging through my dad's old tools, I came across a little quarter drive wrench, and it was completely rusted over. So I mean, I don't know where it is. This is from a long time ago. This is Blue Point. But I called up the corporate headquarters and talked to the lady and told her, yeah, I inherited my dad's tools and the 1/4-inch drive was all messed up bad. So she said, well, read me the part number, and I did. It's stamped on it. And she said, well, we don't make that anymore, but I'll send you the equivalent. And so she sent me out a brand new tool. I mean, I should have looked this up to see what this cost, but I'm sure this is not cheap either. But yeah, here's their little short-handled guy. So it's a very good company to stay with. But back then, when my dad was buying, there were 3 companies. There was Blue Point, and here's another Blue Point that he had, and this is a snap-on from back then. But the other company was called Williams. Super Wrench, there's Williams. So all 3 of them, I mean, like I said, I grew up with these and using these tools, and I remember this. He had bought a whole set of them, and I remember using them as a kid left and right. And so, hey, let me take some of these tools out of this junk box that I put all this stuff in, and I'm putting it in my main rollaway. And I've already been using the Williams. I remember these were nice short wrenches. They worked great. But researching some of the history on these, I guess it was 3 companies manufacturing tools of high quality and backing them up. And wound up, Snap-on bought Blue Point first. They bought them out, and they still honor all of their stuff. So I'll tell you about a socket. And they also bought up Williams. So, and Williams, I mean, these are really old. I think these have been pretty abused by me because I did most of the work on engines and stuff. But yeah, on a Blue Point, I was rebuilding a rather large V8, and I wanted to pull the head off because I was going to do a valve job on it. And I had a 3/4 deep socket on it, and the head bolts were on 220 foot-pounds, and I was cranking on it with a Blue Point, and the entire sidewall just popped right off. So again, I called the Blue Point or Snap-on truck. Guy comes out, hand him the socket. He goes, "Here's your new one." This is the new one that he had given me. So just beautiful people. I know Craftsmen also honors all that stuff. I'm not sure if they still do. I hear they do, but this is the Craftsman socket, and this is the Snap-on socket. What's the difference? You can't tell much at all. But I had originally bought some Snap-on stuff. I think metric, yeah, because I didn't have metric at the time in Snap-on. There was a picture I saw someplace where they have some patent or they do something with the faces on this. And the difference is if you climb on a bolt or a nut with this and you break it free and it's really tough, and finally you get it out, you have to pound the heck out of this to get the nut or the bolt out. It's just jammed in there. A Snap-on, no such thing. Every time I've removed anything, it just pop, falls right out. So there's something about their faces or whatever that's just beautiful. But yeah, expensive because about a year ago I picked up a 1975 Datsun 620 pickup, which is all metric. And I did finally get a set of Snap-on metric sockets a long time ago, but I didn't have any metric wrenches to work on this truck with. So I called the guy and he comes out and I bought a set, 8 wrenches, $350. So this is like $43 a wrench. Ouch. But I needed them, so I had to buy them. So that's kind of my story on tools and what I use. I love them, and I've been restoring and pulling out a lot of my dad's old Snap-on stuff. I mean, he's got a huge set of these Blue Points, and it's beautiful. So they're all going in my rollaway, and I'm using them. So hope you enjoy it. Since I'm set up here, I thought I'd do one more little thing. I think everybody's heard about the Drill Doctor that sharpens your bits. This is the Drill Doctor 750X, their biggest and most expensive whatever unit that there is. And I've watched every video on YouTube, including the Drill Doctor's own DVD that came with it. And they show, and I'll give you some of the stuff here. All you do is you open up the chuck, stick the drill bit in there, kind of snug it, but you have to put it in here. There's this tab here, I hope you can see it, that has to go in this slot. You open this up and you put this in there, but you got to make sure that when it clamps it this way. It doesn't clamp it like this. You have to be vertical and you have to be dead center. There's a little dent in the metal piece down there that centers the part up. So you turn it, you insert it, you crank it down. There's an adjustment here so that you can say I want to take a lot of material off or very little material, and I have it set for pretty much so little material. Otherwise you're going to spend a day spinning this thing around. Now in the videos they just show them going burr, 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 and it's done. Yeah, it's done if all you're going to do is drill wood. If you're going to try to drill metal, I've actually done that and it won't even cut metal. It doesn't even start to cut metal. Aluminum, you name it. So I had called them up saying, you know, is this thing supposed to be this sloppy and flop all over the place? Because it's not giving me a good sharp bit. She goes, oh, well, are you doing it until you don't hear any more sound? And she was nice. She stayed on the phone with me and listened to me go bloop, 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 and wound up with the same results. So I don't know. That conversation just kind of went nowhere. what I do to make this thing work is I've learned you got to be really consistent with pressure. Can't push hard or anything, and you got to hold it up that way as you turn it, and you'll hear it going bring, bring. But you got to keep it up there. You can't just slop this thing around. And when you're done, you look at it under a 10x eye loop, and yes, you get the correct surface. So this is a good device. I have sharpened a lot of drill bits with it, and they've come out really good. I've got beautiful looking holes. The other thing is they show you in the videos how you can split a point. That one absolutely astounds me, because all it does, a split point, is when this overlaps this. You kind of have a crisscross for a tip, and it starts the hole a lot easier. All this does is shave down the back. And I've watched the video, I'm doing exactly what they say, and I pull it out. I don't have a split point, I just have a shaved back. A slot going down the back. So I'm still confused with that. Did quite a few bits, like I said, with this. There's a diamond wheel sitting in the bottom of it, and it seems to be lasting a long time, because there's a lot of dirt in here. I haven't cleaned this thing for a while. But that's my 2 cents worth on a drill doctor. If anybody wants to get it, it's great. You may wind up having to hold it in a different position, I don't know, to get a nice, consistent, sharp bit. Okay. Alright, I was just screwing around. I hope everybody can read the dial on that indicator. You'll remember in another video I said take a DVD or CD player apart, because the rail that the laser rides on is really straight. I've checked this one out now that I've got the granite block, and it is. This dial indicator is the Brown and Sharp best test. So from 0 to 1 is not 10 thousandths, that's a thousandth. So this thing is measuring microns. And I wanted to check to see if the chuck was holding things crooked or not, so here we go. How do you like that, huh? Boom, there's a dent in it. What is this? This thing keeps changing around. A minute ago I was just running this back and forth and it stayed right on 0. It's hitting stuff. Did junk land on this surface? Rotate it a little bit, because I know there's a run out there. Staying on 0. Look at that. It doesn't get better than that. It's almost a half a thousandth there. I have a feeling that's something else. You don't just go flat and then all of a sudden it moves. So this test indicator may need some maintenance to it. What happens if I rotate it someplace else? Let it sit on, say, the 1. Oh, I just hit the chuck, which messed it up. This thing wants to sit at different spots. But I guess when you're playing with microns, that it's a little hard to keep it stable. But I'm pretty sure this is flat, but as far as run out on the chuck, yeah. What have I got? Whoa. That's the low spot there. Oh, I can't adjust anything. So, 1.5 under, all the way up to the top. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 thousandths there. But every time I re-grab this thing, it gives me a different number. Take this out and redo it. Am I going to hit that? No. Tighten one jaw, the other one. Now let's see what it does. Alright, now what's you got for run out? 2, close to 2, so that's 2.5 thousandths. Happens if I come down close to the chuck, as close as I can get it. A little bit, nope, about the same. That's 2.5 right there. It's a little bit more. Alright, I see what was going on. I decided to put the other test indicator on there to see if it agreed. And I was moving it, and it was jumping all over too. What I didn't realize is earlier when I was doing this, I had no movement. Oh, I'm about to hit the chuck. No movement, but when I put the camera tripod in place, I didn't realize it was snagging the CNC cable, motor cable that the magnetic base is sitting on the motor itself. So when you pull the cable, you're going to make all kinds of different measurements. So that's pretty good. That's flat. And what's this saying I've got? That's low. That's about into a half. So that's 1, 2, 3. 3 thousandths run out. Which is not bad for a 3-jaw chuck. Alright, well, that's messing around for today. Blue Angels. Warzone. Blue Angels are practicing again. Decided to put the other test indicator back on. Like a little over 2.5 thousandths run out. But I'm looking at it because it looks like the needle is sticking at the 0.5 thousandth mark. Like there's some damage that was done to this indicator. I'll be able to tell in the video editor by looking at it frame at a time. Alright, well, that's enough. One last piece that I found kind of interesting. I'm comparing the markings on here, 1,000ths, with this to see how accurate it is. And if I carefully, as best I can, move this up 1,000th, it's kind of there. I don't know. That's way under. It was following it. Move it up another 1,000th. Yeah, come back. So this isn't that accurate. I think I started at 2. Come back. There. No. Alright, I'm right on a mark. So it's at 1.5 thousandths. Move up 1,000th on the dial. Yep, it's right there. Move up another 1,000th on the dial as accurately as I can. It's close. Staying close. Move up another 1,000th. Yeah, that's where it went off. Move up another 1,000th. So, interesting. Yeah, I guess I couldn't expect this lead screw to be that accurate. Well, I'm back on a half again. One of them was off. Move in another 1,000th. Yeah. Another 1,000th. Cars. So it is staying pretty close. It is staying right on it. Another 1,000th. Yeah, it is. Wow. Alright, well, that's interesting.